Hello everyone and welcome back to the Web3 Daily. Let's dive into the latest market action. So the dust has finally settled on the Fed's rate cut. And instead of the wild rally some were expecting, we're actually seeing a pretty interesting steady climb. Bitcoin has found solid ground around the $117,000 mark. And I'm getting the sense that the altcoin market is starting to wake up. Honestly, when I first looked at the charts, my immediate thought was, alright, it's holding. A lot of people were bracing for a sell the news dump, thinking the good news was already priced in and would lead to a major sell-off. But it seems the market has stronger hands than we anticipated. The price is holding firm about $117,000, with bulls and bears in a temporary standoff, almost like it's calling up for its next big move. And we all know the script. When Bitcoin chills out, it's often showtime for the alts. Ethereum is looking quite solid back around the $4,600 level. I'm definitely hearing a lot more chatter about the alt season bubbling up again in the community. And it makes sense, right? With the market leader stable, smart money starts sniffing around for assets with more explosive potential and higher volatility. So, over the next little while, it might be a good idea to keep a close watch on those blue chip alts with strong fundamentals or a fresh narrative. We could be in for a few surprises. And speaking of risk, especially the security issues we're constantly talking about, right? On cue, the biggest talk of the town today is a DeFi project called New Gold Protocol that just got exploited. The project was hit yesterday for a loss of about $2 million. Now, in the grand scheme of 9-figure mega hacks, that might not sound like a huge number, but the way it happened is definitely worth a closer look. I dug into the postmortem from some security firms, and the attack vector wasn't even super sophisticated. It was basically an exploit of a flaw in their price oracle mechanism. In simple terms, the attacker manipulated the price feed with a false signal, allowing them to acquire a massive amount of the native token for pennies on the dollar, and then they immediately dumped it on the market at the real price. This quick in and out maneuver completely drained the pool. Think of it like a hacker being able to walk into a jewelry store, magically change the price tag on a diamond to $1, buy it, and then instantly change it back. It's incredibly hard to defend against. This whole thing is another classic reminder for all of us. Whenever the market gets hot, new projects start popping up everywhere, all promising insane returns and trying to be the next 100x gem. But a lot of them, especially the ones without audits from reputable security firms, are just riddled with these kinds of vulnerabilities. Hackers are out there just waiting to pounce on these easy targets. So before you ape into a new project, you absolutely have to do your own research. Read the audit reports, understand its core mechanics, and don't get blinded by a high APY. Because otherwise, all the money you've worked hard to make could end up as exit liquidity for a hacker in a single transaction. Alright. Enough of the doom and gloom from hacker attacks. Let's shift gears to some serious building and see what the big guns are up to. Payment giant PayPal is making moves again, and this latest one, in my opinion, is incredibly ambitious. Their stablecoin, APY USD, has just officially expanded to 7 new blockchains all at once, using Layer 0's cross-chain technology. We're talking about familiar names like Avalanche and Tron, plus some of the newer loans like Aptos. Now, you might be thinking, so what? They're just putting their coin on more chains. Big deal. But the key detail here is the technology they're using. Anyone who's been DeFi for a while knows the headache of asset fragmentation. You have wrapped USDC on one chain and the native USDC on another. And even though they're called the same thing, they're not really the same asset. They're not fungible. And the liquidity is completely siloed. The Layer 0 tech PayPal is using here basically makes it so that APY USD on any of these chains is the exact same asset, fully interchangeable. This solves that fragmented liquidity problem right at the source. So when you look at the big picture, you can see PayPal is playing chess, not checkers. They don't just want a stablecoin. They want to make APY USD the foundational plumbing of Web3, the digital equivalent of water and power. When your stablecoin can move frictionlessly across every major blockchain, its potential applications and network effects just explode. This move goes way beyond just competing with Tether and USDC for market share. It's a play for a dominant role in the financial infrastructure of tomorrow. A truly brilliant move. So while PayPal is busy building out its stablecoin empire, you can bet the big exchange giants like Coinbase aren't just sitting on the sidelines. In fact, Coinbase just made a huge move by bringing a high-yield DeFi product directly into its main app. They've partnered with the DeFi protocol Morpho to launch a USDC lending service on their native Layer 2, the base network. Eligible users can now go into their Coinbase app, deposit USDC with a single tap, and start earning yield. And the advertised APY right now, a whopping 10.8%. 10.8% is a seriously attractive yield in any market. But here's the real kicker. Coinbase has just lowered the barrier to entry for DeFi to practically zero. Think about the hoops you used to have to jump through for on-chain lending. Set up a hot wallet, guard your seed phrase, manually interact with smart contracts, worry about gas fees. It's a complicated process where one wrong move can be disastrous. Now Coinbase has made it as simple as moving money into a high-yield savings account. It's just a few taps, and they even sponsor the gas fees for you. They've used their tech stack to abstract away all the complicated on-chain stuff. The strategy here is crystal clear. First, they're keeping users on their platform by offering competitive DeFi yields. Why let users withdraw to go farm somewhere else when you can bring the best farm right to them? But second, and this is the masterstroke, they're driving massive liquidity and value to their own base ecosystem. It's like they've built a giant mall, and now they've opened an exclusive, state-of-the-art theme park inside that you can't find anywhere else. If you want the best rides, you have to come to their mall. With moves like this, Coinbase is building an incredibly powerful moat around the base ecosystem. So we've seen how the giants are spending money and making strategic plays. Now, let's flip the coin and look at what happens when the iron fist of regulation comes down. This time, the crackdown is coming from Canada, and they are not messing around. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or RCMP, just took down a crypto exchange called TradeOgre, and in the process, they seized 56 million Canadian dollars. That's about 40 million US dollars in crypto. And let me just stress the language here. Took down and seized. This is some serious enforcement action. Now, your first thought might be that this exchange was some kind of scam or rug pull. But that's not it. The official reason is brutally simple. The platform completely ignored Canadian financial law. It failed to register with FinTrack, Canada's financial intelligence unit. And more importantly, it had zero KYC, or know your customer, procedures in place. That means it was a free-for-all for anonymous trading, which, as you can imagine, basically made it a 5-star resort for money launderers. The police stated that the platform was a major hub for illicit funds. This case is a landmark. It's the first time Canadian authorities have straight up dismantled an entire exchange. And it sends a powerful message. It's a declaration that the Wild West days of crypto are officially over in the developed world. For any exchange out there still trying to operate in the shadows, this is a final warning. And for us, the users, it's a critical reminder. When you choose a platform, security and compliance are non-negotiable. Don't be tempted to use some sketchy, no-name exchange just to save a few bucks on fees or to skip KYC. Because when the hammer finally comes down, your assets could vanish right along with the platform, leaving you with nothing but a worthless string of numbers on a block explorer. While Canada is taking the heavy-handed crackdown approach, Europe is playing a completely different game. They're choosing to manage the entire industry with a comprehensive, systematic rulebook. And just recently, their long-awaited markets in crypto assets regulation, better known as MiCA, has hit a major milestone. Now, MiCA technically became law last year, but the EU gave everyone a grace period, allowing existing crypto firms to get their affairs in order and apply for a license. Well, that grace period is officially coming to an end. Starting July 1st, 2026, any crypto asset service provider operating in the EU will need a MiCA license to do business, period. No license, no business. It's that simple. This really highlights the difference in strategy. The EU isn't waiting for things to break before they fix them. They're setting the rules of the game up front. And for the industry, this is largely a good thing. Why? Because it creates a single clear set of rules for the entire block. Before, you might have had to navigate different regulations in Germany, France, and Spain. It was a nightmare. Now, a single MiCA license acts like a passport, giving a firm access to all 27 EU member states. This dramatically simplifies compliance, and more importantly, it gives the industry the clarity and predictability that big institutions need to feel comfortable entering the space. But there's always a flip side. These high standards create a much higher barrier to entry. The small scrappy startups that thrive in a move fast and break things environment will likely struggle to survive in my case Europe. So, this new era is both a maturation of the industry and a massive shakeout. The European crypto market is about to become a lot more professional, but it's also likely to become a lot more consolidated around the major players. Okay, after all that talk about the regulation, let's bring our focus back to where the real magic happens, technology and adoption, and let's see what the tech titans are cooking up. The star of this story is Google, and they've just made a play that sits right at the intersection of the two hottest narratives in the world, artificial intelligence and crypto. Google Cloud has announced that it will be tapping EigenLayer's technology to serve as a core part of the backbone for its AI agent initiatives. Now, when I first saw this headline, I was honestly a little stunned. But the more I thought about it, the more it made perfect sense. So, what is EigenLayer? In simple terms, it's a shared security marketplace. It lets Ethereum stakers restake their ETH to secure other protocols, essentially renting out their validation power. So what on earth does that have to do with Google's AI? Well, think about where AI is going. Future AI agents won't just live inside a chat window. They'll be out in the world, executing real tasks for you, booking your travel, managing your subscriptions, making payments. Every single one of those actions needs to be verifiable, tamper-proof, and completely trustworthy. EigenLayer provides exactly that. A decentralized, cryptographically secured trust layer. Google isn't just looking at the tech, they're looking for that decentralized credibility that only a network like this can provide. This is why this partnership is so much more significant than just another corporate investment in a crypto startup. It's a massive validation that the core primitives of Web3, like decentralized trust, are becoming essential infrastructure for the next generation of the internet and the age of AI. We've always talked about the blockchain solving the trust problem in a very abstract way. But now you have Google, one of the biggest players on the planet, coming in and showing, not just telling that they need Web3 technology to power their most critical future strategy. This is a story you're going to want to watch very, very closely. After looking at Google's grand plans for the future, let's wrap up the news with a story that is pure old-school crypto. Let's talk about one of the space's most mysterious living fossils. An ancient Bitcoin whale has just woken up. On-chain data just lit up showing that a Bitcoin wallet, dormant for over 12 years, was suddenly activated yesterday. This wallet was created way back in 2013. The price of Bitcoin back then, around $100. After more than a decade of sitting untouched, the value of the Bitcoin in that address has multiplied by over 1,000 times. Whenever one of these ancient whales makes a move, the community instantly goes into a frenzy of speculation. Who are they and what's their play? The theories usually fall into a few camps. First, there's the one everyone fears, the imminent dump theory. With that much profit on the table, the holder could decide to cash out, which would unleash massive selling pressure on the market. The second theory is a bit calmer, wallet housekeeping. The owner might just be consolidating funds from old, perhaps less secure wallets into a single, modern one. And there's the more strategic theory, the test transaction. The idea is that some OGs or institutions hold such vast amounts that before making a major sale, they'll move a smaller amount first, just to test the pipes and see how the market reacts. If that's the case, this transfer could be the opening act for a much bigger move. But no matter what the real reason is, the movements of these ancient whales always act as a mirror, reflecting the market's deepest anxieties and hopes. Their existence is a fundamental part of Bitcoin's lore and a constant reminder that even in the transparent world of the blockchain, there are still powerful unknown forces moving just beneath the surface. Alright, that's all for today's Web3 Daily. If you found this helpful, please remember to hit that like button to show your support. Every day, we're scanning the globe to bring you the most critical insights in the Web3 world, the news that's closest to the money. We hope that by curating and breaking down this information, we can help you make more rational and informed decisions on your Web3 investment journey. Also, I've dropped exclusive registration links for major exchanges in the comments section below. These are special high rebate deals we've secured for our viewers, and we hope they can help you save on some trading costs along the way. Let's all continue to navigate the Web3 world with a rational mindset, moving forward steadily and getting rich slowly. May everyone's crypto portfolio see steady growth. We'll see you tomorrow.